Good morning, everyone. This is Nicole Ali again. I'm back with another video, moving past the drama and all the mess, because there's a lot of stuff going on out here and we need to focus on the real shit that's going on. I already said my piece about what I feel about this current situation in Black YouTube, so to speak. So this article comes from 538.com, published this week, and it's talking about how the CDC is publishing unreliable data on gun injuries. Although that's happening, people are still using the data. So what they did in this article is break down how the CDC gun injury estimates don't match other estimates that have been obtained by other sample collections. And I'll leave the link, of course, in the description box for y'all to read this article in full. But this graph shows that the NIS tracks fewer injuries than the other two databases because it only counts cases where the patient was admitted to the hospital. So you have NIS, CDC, and NEDS, and I'll get into what NIS and NEDS are. You know that CDC is the Center for Disease Control. As you can see on the graph, they have calculated gun injuries from 1995 to 2015. The CDC has data shown past 2015, and they're counting the number of gun injuries from 0 to 100,000, 100K at the top on the y-axis. So the sources come from CDC Nationwide Emergency Department Sample, or NEDS, and the National Inpatient Sample, or NIS. And as you can see, the NEDS and NIS, the numbers are much lower, going downward trend. The CDC trend is going up. And based on where the dots are, you have a few outliers for NIS. You have more outliers for NEDS. And you have a closer trend with the CDC, meaning that the dots are closer to the average. The line represents the average. But either way you look at it, NIS started taking samples way before 1995, probably like 1991. And NEDS started taking numbers probably 2006. The CDC started around 2001. And there's a crossover at about 2011, maybe the end of 2010, where the NEDS and the CDC meet up. But either way, the trend is much different. So what they're saying in the article is that the CDC uses collected data by the Consumer Product Safety Commission, the CPSC, and that CDC estimates for the firearm-related assaults appear to be increasing from 2015 to 2016. There is not a statistically significant difference between the estimates. Over a dozen public health researchers reviewed the Trace and 538's analysis and said that the inaccuracy of the CDC gun injury data has serious implications for the national level understanding of gun violence. And we already know who is committing the most gun violence out here. Just type in school shootings and you can see what's going on, who's doing what. So according to a research center from Harvard, the Harvard Injury Control Research Center, they say no one should trust the CDC's non-fatal firearm injury point estimates. You have to remember that is a very critical word, estimate. Estimate ain't nothing but an educated guess, an average, based on previous analysis, but not based on current analysis, and does not give future estimates either. However, many researchers have trusted these numbers from the CDC, or at least have referenced them. They've referenced these numbers from the CDC in policy recommendations for specific cities and specific states. They've even used these numbers from the CDC, from the RAND Corporation, which does nonprofit research. It's a think tank. They've even used these statistics to submit to the UN for international law, and to obtain and to establish international laws, or to change international laws. I mean, they've used these statistics all over the place. Last year, the American Journal of Epidemiology published a paper that used CDC data to conclude that there was a hidden epidemic of firearm injury, and they have that paper here highlighted in blue, so you can go to that link if you want to. This woman from the RAND Corporation cited the estimates in the introduction of a policy paper she published in 2017, so you can go to that link as well. She said it feels like a gotcha moment for people who've used it. One reason that people use the data from the CDC is because it's easily accessible online through their WSQARS database, web-based injury statistics query and reporting system. So I'm going to go down to another part, because as I said, I'm not going to go through the whole article. That's why I leave the link in the description box for you all. The CDC's data is usually in line with other estimates, so the trend lines are not really following that statement. They have the same graph on the left that you saw at the top, and you have another graph on the right which talks about drowning and submersion. And what I noticed is that the NIS data, which is the blue line at the bottom, is specifically lower than CDC, and NEDS is usually higher than the CDC. But overall, the blue line and the turquoise line are usually in a downward trend, and the CDC is in an upward trend. So look at drowning, submersion. Let's look at falls. Same trend. Fire and burns. Same trend. Cuts and piercings. Same trend. Falls, the NEDS and CDC actually have the same trend together. But you see overall that the NIS across all of these different reasons for injury or death, it's almost the same. It's usually lower than the CDC. Now usually, but not always, but it's usually lower. So this is showing you, and hopefully it's going to show you when you read through this whole article, that it is important how data is represented, and more important how we analyze data that's being given to us. So please look through this article, go to the links yourself to get more information. Don't take my word for it. I'm just giving you my analysis. This is a very dangerous precedent that has been set and has been set for a long time. I'll talk to you all on the next video. Y'all let me know what you think in the comment section, and y'all have a great Friday.